Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
What's up, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Race to 100. I'm Neil Patain.
I'm Rick Thorcell, and we are on episode number 62.
And today we are unfortunately going to be talking about the sudden death of Alton Sterling, which happened recently in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. To sum it up, Mr. Alton Sterling was hanging out outside of a convenience store, selling some CDs. Someone called the police on him, saying that he pulled a gun on them, was threatening them, starting to fight. Two police officers arrived on the scene.
At about 1 in the morning.
At about 1 in the morning, thank you, Ricks. They took him down. I guess a little bit of an altercation ensued.
And we know this, by the way, because of two sources. There is a pedestrian who was videotaping, as well as a convenience store camera that recorded all of this. So as this was going down.
And they ended up killing him. Shot him a couple of times, and he died on the scene. Now, police authorities have said he was an armed man, but even if he was armed, it doesn't mean that he necessarily drew his weapon from underneath him with the intent to harm a police officer.
Yeah, as it stands right now, the convenience store owner, who considered him a friend, who had actually given him permission to sell these CDs outside of his food mart, had said that he was armed at the time, but that he was in no way trying to use that weapon or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
And then add to the fact too, this individual had had a couple of criminal mistakes in his past, including battery, assault, resisting arrest, and so again, I mean, we come to this place right now where Neil, you talked about how Black Lives Matter really reinforce the core issues at hand, and this again just reaffirms the fact that I mean, just the video alone is graphic. It's horrible, and I don't see how anyone who objectively views that can find that there is not something wrong with what is going on right there. That there's some factor going on between the police officers and that individual that caused this to happen. I mean, could you imagine a white person having to experience something that crude?
Yeah. And the reports say, Ricks, that I guess they attempted to tase him, but the guy was so big and strong that the energy or electricity from the taser gun wasn't enough to subdue him.
That was only like in movies.
No. They tried they tried to tase him. It didn't work. Like you can even like YouTube. There are guys who actually get tased, but they're just their adrenaline is just going so hard that it does nothing, and then they shot him to subdue him, unfortunately. And it's just I mean, I understand that. I mean, panhandling may be illegal, which is what the guy may have been doing. Of course, he was breaking the law, but does that justify killing an innocent man, a father, a husband, a brother, a loved one, a provider for a family because he was selling CDs outside of his friend's convenience store? I guess it just doesn't make any sense to me.
And I mean, as a white person, and I'm sure that my fellow white people would be just as perplexed if this happened to a white person, but in a sense that there would not be a precedent for this. Whereas we see this precedent happening over and over again with the black community, which is part of the reason for the evolution of the Black Lives Matter movement, and the reason that it's still a thing, the reason why there are still protests. You had 200 people show up the next day protesting this man's death. And it's just a sad reminder that regardless of how much public conscience we may have about this, we live in a very divided society where race really at its core plays some role in these events, because you don't see this happening to those people of the same race when it comes to white people. And you can visit. We'll put the link above to the Pew research studies that we ended up examining, just showing the different worlds that we live in, and it doesn't make any sense to me how this can just keep happening over and over again, despite these conversations that we're having, other than the fact that progress is slow.
The 114th killed black man in 2016, according
114
up to date in 2016, according to the Washington Post.
by police or by
No, by police, by the police.
114 by police. Really?
But yeah. So again, I'm not trying to negate the criminal activity that happens on either spectrum.
But there needs to be a higher threshold of justification for using lethal force.
Deadly force, fatal force,
Lethal force.
Lethal. I mean, for me, lethal. Again, if I just take you down, put you in the headlock, and say, calm your ass down, would be.
That's not lethal.
That's not lethal.
Lethal means deadly.
Lethal means deadly.
Yes, they're synonymous.
Okay, they are synonymous. So yeah, there we go. I think the cops need to chill out on how they
and maybe expand their vocabulary.
on lethally using force against our brothers. It's unfortunate, man. This stuff is happening in our communities. And again, this is just what we've been talking about over and over and over again. We've been harping on this all season during Race to 100.
So what sort of response other than protests can groups like Black Lives Matter engage in?
What sort of response other than Black Lives Matter? Again, just repeating it, harping on it over and over and over again, inundating white listeners with the message until they understand exactly what is happening. Until the powers that be can acknowledge the racial disparities within our criminal justice system. I told you this the other day, Ricks. One presidential candidate has actually called this to light, and that was Bernie Sanders. Barack Obama never directly said that. They might have said it indirectly. It's one thing to say there is a problem within our criminal justice system, and it's another thing to say there's a racial problem within our criminal justice system.
And not to get too far off point two, but you have the reality that, I mean, you taught me something when you said Black Lives Matter movement is so much simpler than someone like me who likes to intellectualize things makes that to be. What did you say? Stop
exonerating police officers or the powers that be that wrongfully execute black.
Yes.
That's it. Stop justifying the execution of innocent black people.
And I mean that resonated with me. I mean that's it. And when you see something like this, it's a reminder that wow, it really is that simple. That needs to be the conversation that is at the forefront. I mean, white people can try and make Black Lives Matter about whatever they want to defend their own privilege. But when it comes down to it, young black men are getting killed on the street by those who are supposed to be serving and protecting. And that's not right.
And it's very unfortunate. So, yes, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Race to 100. None of this would be possible without you guys. Rest in peace, Alton Sterling. We pray for your family and friends during this terrible time. Ricks, you want to add anything else?
And this emotional roller coaster ride is going to continue when we see you next time on the Race to 100.